Welcome to today's reading. The reading today is for Gemini for December 2022. Welcome, Gemini. I hope you're all well. Start the reading. The cards have been pre-shuffled, but I will shuffle them again for you. The flowers today are from my garden. I hope you enjoy them. I'm an intuitive reader and I do a 10-card spread, 5 cards along the top row, 5 cards along the bottom row. I talk about each one of those cards as they come out, then I overlay them with a second layer of cards, again 5 on the top and 5 along the bottom row. I'll talk about those again, and at the end I collate the whole of the reading together to give you a bit of an overview and the things that I think that you may need to be warned about or advised about, perhaps things to consider, and to give you some of the idea of the energy of where you're going in December for 2022. So welcome again, Gemini. I'm just about ready to start the reading. I'll just give them one more shuffle. If you want to know what decks I'm using, the tarot decks I'm using, that'll be in the description box. So there's the first card out. I'll put that out, so that's the energy of today's reading. I'll place that over here. We'll talk about that later. That's the 6 of Pentacles. Okay. First card out, 2 of Pentacles, Page of Wands, Death card in reverse, the Lovers in reverse, and the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. Page of Pentacles, King of Wands, Hierophant in reverse, 5 of Swords upright, and the Queen of Pentacles upright. Okay, now on the bottom of the deck we have the 9 of Wands. I'll put that over here as well. I'll just move that. Okay, so the 2 of Pentacles is normally about juggling your finances. It can be juggling anything, but it's got the Pentacles on, so it tends to be finances or your values. So juggling your values, perhaps something surprising's coming in, we don't know, but it's a sort of a magical act, and it has the infinity, the lemniscate symbol on there, so anything is possible, but it looks like you're in a position of juggling a little bit. Page of Wands, a new idea or a new creative idea, so this is creative energy. Looks like the beginning of a little bit of a journey here. Looks like you've taken a few steps and perhaps starting on a new journey. Got your feather in your cap, so feeling a little bit full of yourself here, a little bit proud of yourself perhaps that you've come up with a good idea. You know, you need to plan carefully about what you're doing, so that's a good sign, but it's great that you've got some creative new idea. Here we've got the Death card in reverse. Now, the Death card is often a worrisome card for a lot of people. It's usually not a literal death, and I certainly don't feel it in this case. It's the end of a cycle or resurrection, so perhaps the resurrection after a closing off of a cycle. But, you know, something has come to an end probably, or getting very close to coming to an end. So this is the recent past, the present, and the future. And these cards are sort of the in-between, leading out and leading in energy. We've got the Lovers in reverse. So Lovers is finding balance between your conscious and your subconscious mind. It can speak a bit about soulmates, a partnership, a loving and divine partnership that always seek to lift each other up. And if this is about a partnership, then perhaps you haven't been lifting each other up. 4 of Pentacles talks about stability, the stability of your values and your finances, and it's in reverse, so perhaps there's been a little bit of instability in your finances or your values. I'll check again. Page of Pentacles, hoping for a new opportunity to come in. So this is youthful energy. So we've got youthful energy here and here. These are very often young people or young ideas, fresh young ideas. So that's, you've got youthful energy coming in, so that's good. Got the King of Wands in reverse. Now the King of Wands is highly fertile, highly creative, knows how to manifest anything that he's trying to create. He has full command of his element there. He's in reverse, so perhaps that's something's had a bit of a sudden shock. It's turned on his head, so there's a little bit of a strange energy. I might check on that one with the next layer. Got the Hierophant here in reverse. This is traditional values. Could represent a marriage, for example, in which case perhaps it's come to the end. It's highly possible. Or a decision you need to make. Say represents spiritual energy, so perhaps this is also resurrection, and death always brings up the issue of spirituality. So perhaps there's some thinking about where you're going on a spiritual level. That can also represent the church, usually traditional values, the church, marriage, those sorts of things, you know, the establishment. And both of these are in reverse. So something is happening here. This is sort of in your present moment, or it could be sort of mid-December. There's no definition really about the exact times here on the table. Okay, you've got the Five of Swords. Now this energy is often about, you know, it can be slanderous language. It can be winning at all cost and being utterly ruthless. It can be about gossip. You know, it's about some sort of a painful sort of energy. You can see the people in the background don't look very happy. And the smirk on this person's face indicates that they don't really care. So some damaging words, perhaps, damaging thoughts, jagged energy here in the clouds. So not the best of energies really to have, you know, this card out on the deck. It's telling me that either your thoughts are a little bit sort of, you've got worrisome thoughts perhaps in your mind, or you've had some difficult words, or received difficult words, or given difficult words, painful words. So it's a bit of a painful card. Queen of Pentacles. Well, the Queen here, she has full command of her pentacle. She's focused entirely on her values or her money. She's in a nice garden there. She's got her little animal friends around her, but she's focused entirely on her money. That's the only thing she's thinking about. But she is able to manifest more money because that's what she's focused on. I won't talk about these until the end. Now I'll clarify these cards by putting another layer over the top, and then we'll see, you get a better idea of where we're going and what the reading is about. And like I said, I don't know whether this is exactly the present moment right now or whether it implies sort of mid-December. So, you know, as I say, the time frame can shift either way a little bit for you, Gemini. Okay, so the first card out is, actually I won't take that, I don't know why, I don't feel that that's right. I'll shuffle again. I'm going to clarify the Two of Pentacles, please, for Gemini. If that card wants to come out, it will come out again. Clarify the Two of Pentacles for Gemini, please. Okay, the Wheel of Fortune. So something is about to change, possibly in your favour. And the Wheel of Fortune is there's nothing you can do to control the Wheel of Fortune. It's really about a sort of a path of destiny, the way the wheel turns for all of us. Sometimes it's turning in a favourable position for us, and sometimes not so favourable. Sometimes it feels like everything's going wrong, and other times it feels like we're in the middle of good times. Okay, Page of Wands for Gemini, please. Okay, Nine of Wands. You can see he looks a little bit weary. Looks like he's been in a few battles. He's got a little bit more to go, but sometimes this is sort of a card of questioning whether you want to continue doing what you're doing. Has what I've been doing given me any pleasure? Is this the result I'm looking for? How much more can I give without feeling completely broken? It's sort of like the last stage of a creative project. We clarify Death, please, in reverse for Gemini. Okay, the Magician. All right. Now, as you can see, he's got all the tools that he requires in front of him. He's got his wands, his cup, his pentacle, and his swords. Everything's there on the table. A little bit of magic. He's got the lemniscate symbol on his little propeller on his hat. So again, this is the second sort of anything is possible sort of message you're getting. You've got it here and here. So it looks like Gemini, perhaps a little bit of magic is coming your way. We hope so. Let's clarify the lovers for Gemini, please. Clarify the lovers in reverse for Gemini. And I'm just, you know, with all of these, as I said, I'm an intuitive reader. I suddenly got a look at the hands, and I got the word stop, stop, stop. So, you know, I'm just telling you what I see in the cards, all right? Stop. And it's interesting, it's on above the painful words. So if you've been having some sort of disagreements and, you know, differing thoughts with each other, if you're in a relationship, it's asking you to stop, because this partnership is supposed to be a sacred partnership. You are supposed to lift each other up, not tear each other apart. So it's interesting, I got the word stop, stop. Clarify the lovers in reverse, please, for Gemini. Okay, you've got the Fool in reverse. So the Fool is a commencement of a new journey, a sort of a carefree beginning, a new beginning, or wishing for a new beginning. Okay, clarify the Four of Pentacles, please, for Gemini. Four of Pentacles for Gemini in reverse. Four of Pentacles in reverse for Gemini. Okay, Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is traditionally viewed as feeling trapped in your mind, hemmed in, just sort of stuck where you are, unable to go unable to go forward the way you want to go forward, just feeling a little bit trapped. Can we clarify the Page of Pentacles, please, for Gemini? Page of Pentacles for Gemini, please. And the Page of Pentacles, you can see by the sort of expression on this card, the expression on the face of this page here. Perhaps it's a little bit of a dreamy energy, wishful thinking perhaps, dreaming of perhaps having a better state of finances. But it can also indicate somebody who's just starting their journey into the workforce, or commencing a new job, somebody who's just started a new job, who's still perhaps not used to having a spare pentacle, or, you know, and sort of looking forward to receiving some monetary rewards. We clarify the Page of Pentacles, please. Okay, two have come out. Take those both. Okay, we've got the Two of Cups. And that one's come out sideways. I'll put that one down sideways because this is the Moon. So the Moon always talks about don't be under any illusion about anything. So I'll put that one down here. And also, oh, it's interesting. I've just noticed the smoke coming out of the two towers at the back. And I got the expression, blowing your stack. Don't blow your stack. So it's sideways. So some of these cards, and the tarot tends to be, especially along the bottom row, they tend to be sort of, I'll call them lessons or warning cards. Things to be aware of that you don't overreact. Okay? So Two of Cups, this is about the lovers. This is finding someone to love and sharing your love with. A very emotional, lovey-dovey sort of energy. So that's quite a nice energy there. Okay, we'll clarify the King of Wands, please, in reverse. Very mixed reading at this stage, Gemini, so we'll see what we can pull together out of this when we're finished. King of Wands, please, for Gemini. Can we clarify the King of Wands in reverse? Okay, Four of Pentacles is upright. So the Four of Pentacles is the same card as you've received down here at the end of the reading. Okay, but this one's in the upright position. So this is thinking about stability, values, monetary stability, your home, your bank accounts, your finances, your investment. You're thinking about all of those things. And that's on top of the King of Wands in reverse. So Perhaps something's gone wrong with one of your investments and you're a little bit concerned because the King of Wands is in reverse. But we'll clarify as we go along. That one wants to come out. Okay, Seven of Wands is about arguments. Arguments, standing your ground. And if you do need to stand your ground or defend your territory, take the high moral ground. Don't play at the bottom of the game, so to speak. You know, sometimes you need to stand back and defend yourself. It doesn't mean you need to get right into the pit and fight. And what I'd call a dirty fight. It's asking you here to take the high moral ground. I'll put that there because I'm not quite sure whether it belongs to the Hierophant or not. Can we clarify the Hierophant, please, for Gemini? You see, I'll talk about this one a little bit more. You can see if you stand up on a stool, you've got the advantage over your competitors or the people who are attacking you, perhaps, or from who you feel you need to defend yourself. By standing on the stool, it gives you that little added advantage to stand up to the attack. And you know, you've got a strong baton there in your hand, so you can defend yourself. Okay, clarify the Hierophant, please, for Gemini. Can we clarify the Hierophant for Gemini, please? Okay, Seven of Pentacles. So this is taking a rest, having a little bit of a break. You've accumulated some money there, or you know, you've got your values there. You're thinking about your values. You're thinking about your money. What are you going to do next? It's taking a little breather. Okay, can we clarify the Five of Swords, please, for Gemini? Five of Swords for Gemini. Okay, Six of Cups. Now, Six of Cups is usually about having a nice time with your family, you know, enjoying yourself. But particularly this deck, for some reason. In this deck, I always feel like it's overindulging in alcohol or, and you know, excess. And it's a warning against excess. This card normally would be a happy card. But for some reason, whenever I see it on this particular deck, I always feel like overindulgence, partying a little bit too hard, perhaps. The other thing is I always feel, and it's only with this deck, there are flowers, but I always feel sort of substance abuse with this, for some reason, only with this deck. And normally I wouldn't even use this deck as a second overlay of cards, but today the other deck wasn't cooperating very well. So this one can be sort of partying hard, you know, pills, substance, powders, alcohol, those kind of things. And it's in the upright position, so it actually is a good card. But like I said, this card always gives me a sense of overindulgence. And it is the Christmas season coming up, so perhaps it's giving you a little warning of being a little bit, maybe a bit cautious about overindulging. Can we have the Queen of Pentacles, please, for Gemini? Queen of Pentacles for Gemini. Okay, Ten of Wands, a heavy burden. You can see he's carrying an awful lot. Perhaps he's getting a little bit weary. He's still got a little way to go before he gets home. Carrying a lot of responsibility. So the Queen of Pentacles is very focused on her values, her money, but it's obviously giving you quite a sense of responsibility, a heavy burden. It feels like a heavy burden perhaps, but maybe not long to go because the number 10 is sort of coming to an end. So it's interesting, you've got the Nine of Pentacles here, and you've got the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Wands here. So, you know, a little bit battle weary, a little bit tired, having to defend yourself. Okay. All right, let's I might actually, we've clarified all of those. I might just have a look what's on the bottom of the deck. I'll let you look first. I haven't looked yet. Okay. Seven of Swords, in reverse. The Seven of Swords is, again, this is kind of like a, usually not a very nice card in the sense that it talks about thievery or trickery or, you know, being swindled or somebody having taken something that didn't belong to them and leaving you feeling depleted. It's in reverse, so I'll pop that over there. Okay, well, Gemini, it doesn't look like a very wonderful reading, unfortunately. I can't change the way the cards have come out. It does look like you've had some really difficult times on your plate. You know, it looks to me like you've been perhaps juggling your finances. You've been struggling a little bit with your creative ideas, perhaps wanting to do more or taking on more perhaps than you could cope with. That's the other indication. Perhaps you've taken on more than you could actually cope with. Sometimes, you know, you get very enthusiastic about doing things and then it, you know, in your mind you think you'll be finished in a week or two, and it actually takes a lot longer. You need a little bit of magic. It looks like you're actually, there's been some sort of a loss, I think, or an ending. I'm not quite sure whether you've come to the end of your strength. That's possible because you look a little bit battle weary here. Looks like you've had lots of bright ideas to start with. Perhaps being a little bit naive as to how much you could take on, and perhaps you're very tired and exhausted. That is a possibility. I mean, death here is just an ending, and it's in reverse. So perhaps wishing that you could gather your strength so you could keep going, but it looks like perhaps you're not giving yourself enough time. You need a little bit of magic, perhaps. You know, wishing you could start a new journey and maybe not being, you know, I mean, death is sort of the end and this is starting a new journey, but there's some sort of a delay here. So it looks like things are not going quite so smoothly as you'd like it to go. You're wishing for a bit of magic. You know, this is the magic card is wishing for a little bit of assistance, intervention. Bit of divine assistance would be lovely. You know, a little bit of magic would be wonderful to help you on your way, but that isn't always forthcoming. So it also looks to me like if you're in a partnership here, it looks to me like you've had some sharp words with each other and not been lifting each other up. That's possible. Again, there are quite a lot of swords on the table. You know, you've got swords and you know, and wands. So it's creative energy and swords. So defending yourself, battling. Here, Eight of Swords, feeling a bit trapped, feeling locked in perhaps, worried about your stability, wondering if you're ever going to get what you need. Perhaps you're feeling like you're never going to have enough money to do the things you want to do. Now, I'll talk about these end cards at the moment. So Six of Pentacles is talking about having sufficient money that you can share, or it's a sort of a generosity of spirit. Wishing you could share or having enough money to share with, you know, perhaps your family or perhaps even with strangers, make a donation. Now, again, this person is the same as the Nine of Wands here. You've got the two Nine of Wands. Here he looks quite battle fatigued, and here he's leaning heavily on his staff. He's got a little way yet to go before he's finished. Got a bandage across his head. He's looking at the things, his batons and his staff, his wands behind him, and saying, you know, do I really want this? Is this worth the fight? Is this worth the effort? So that's something you need to decide and consider. And here's Seven of Swords. Perhaps you feel a little bit tricked or misled. Perhaps somebody has tricked you or deceived you. This is sort of deceit, thievery, trickery, all of those negative kind of traits. It's in reverse. So perhaps it's just, you know, because sword cards are sort of in the mind, you know, cards that relate to the mind. So perhaps this is not a real deception. Perhaps this is something that you feel that you've been tricked or deceived. You've got the Eight of Swords up here. So again, it's a sort of a feeling trapped in your mind. You know, so maybe you feel that something you've put your energy into has left you feeling quite exhausted, and that you know it's not the bundle of joy that you were hoping for, perhaps, and it's turned into more hard work. It's caused some arguments by the looks of it. Now, the Queen of Pentacles is usually quite a prosperous card because she's quite focused on her money, and it's in the upright position, so things don't all look bad for you, Gemini. But for some reason, we've got the heavy burden card on top of it, so something is making you feel like you've got a heavy burden. And perhaps it's the finances. Perhaps working towards your security and your finances and your values feels like a very heavy burden for you. Do you know, if you've had arguments and you've had sharp words and afterwards you don't really feel yourself and you turn to alcohol, it's not going to provide you much of a long-term solution if you end up with a terrible headache or you do something you later regret. But, you know, look, to have a drink and relax and party a little bit is wonderful. So I'm not trying to put a negative spin on the card that came out in the upright position, but as I said, this card in this particular deck always makes me feel like giving you a little bit of a warning about overindulging. It does look to me like you feel like you're carrying a heavy burden. It looks like you've had to defend yourself. You've looked very battle weary and a little bit broken. You've got the Two of Cups here, which is the Lover's card. So I'm just thinking perhaps a little bit of a dreamy energy, a bit of a dreamy energy here. You know, maybe rather than reality. I'm not quite sure. I just sort of feel that again, this particular deck with the little wings above it, it just sort of feels a little bit dreamy somehow. Maybe dreams of a beautiful relationship and everything going perfectly. But this is what I always call the illusion card, Under the Moon. And it came out sideways, so it's a little bit ambivalent. I guess the other thing is, you know, you have to pick your path between the wolf and the dog. It's a kind of a transformation card. The lobster's coming out of the water. He's coming into reality on dry land. He has to pick his way through and he has to make decisions as he goes. So don't be under any illusion about what you're trying to deal with. Look, the lobster has the pearls of wisdom in his hand, in his claws. Perhaps you need a little bit of quiet time to yourself. I mean, the cards on the table look like there's an awful lot of activity going on. And that's perhaps the one thing I can say to you, Gemini, is perhaps you're not giving yourself enough space, not enough time to relax and regenerate, because it looks such a chaotic, the table looks chaotic. And that's the only way I can describe it. And the only thing I can think is that you're not taking enough time for yourself. You're not giving yourself enough space just to be quiet, just to sit and let your body renew itself. Looks like you've taken on so many issues all the way through the reading. Even the good cards look fatigued. Like even this guy, I mean, he looks fatigued. You know, that Seven of Cups, Seven of Pentacles, usually he's taking a rest after he's worked hard. And you know, make sure you give yourself that rest. If you've done all these battles and you're so battle weary, somehow you need to give yourself some time. It looks like you're juggling. You just sort of, perhaps you're stretched. And that's the other thing. I also get the impression with this one where he's juggling the Two of Pentacles. If you were to look at that as an elastic going around, that looks awfully stretched. It looks tired. It looks like he's been juggling for a long time, hopping up and down on one foot, hoping for better times, hoping that his ship will come in soon. I'm not quite sure, Gemini, but with this reading on the table, I definitely think that perhaps, you know, if you're in a relationship, don't burn yourself out so far, you know, and again, you've got the flames here on these cards. Don't burn yourself out to the point where you can't give to your relationship anymore and it turns into squabbles and fights. See, these are more restful cards. You know, this one is the Four of Pentacles here often talks about being overly concerned about your values and your pentacles, and she's very focused on her pentacles. So it looks to me like the future looks like you are concerned and thinking very much about how you can earn some money or increase your values to your life, perhaps, trying to get a second job or those kind of things. You'd love to have more money perhaps to be able to share, but it looks like that's quite hard work. The trickery card here at the end, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I actually feel that this is more something in your mind. For some reason, because you've also got the Eight of Swords here in reverse, I think perhaps you've got worries, a lot of worries. You're letting things worry you, perhaps. You do feel burdened. But Gemini, there's only one answer to this, and that's to actually give yourself some space. Somehow you've got to find yourself some space to relax. Perhaps step out and take a day off, even if it's not a whole week off. Sometimes just saying, okay, today I'm doing nothing. Today I'm giving to myself. Today I'm just going to enjoy myself. I'm going to have a cup of coffee somewhere. I might have a glass of wine. I'm just going to look after myself. I haven't really got anything more for you, Gemini. It actually looks like you're under a lot of pressure. To me, it looks like you're just perhaps trying to achieve too much too fast, or trying to achieve too much while you've got too many other things going on in your life. Be careful you don't burn yourself out altogether. And this is the other thing. Like I said, the cards are sort of warnings to you, really, more than anything else. This is what you should be using tarot for. Tarot is to give you some insight as to how to progress, particularly through a month. And this looks like it's going to be a reasonably difficult month for you for some reason. Here you've got the Four of Pentacles again, always thinking about your stability, your values, your money, where you're going, how, your house, how you're going to hold it all together. But it looks like to me that that's causing you quite a lot of angst and anxiety, and it looks like you have to work very, very hard. So perhaps, Gemini, I do suggest you give yourself a little bit of a break. Maybe over Christmas, don't strive too hard to please everybody. Just perhaps look after yourself, because otherwise you will break. It looks like you're at breaking point anyway. So do look after yourself, Gemini. I'm sorry that I haven't got a really happy, joyful lot of cards on the table for you. But that's how I'm reading the cards today. I wish you well. Take care of yourself, Gemini, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.